and the Power of Love. Tell us a little bit about this book and I guess what inspired you to write it?
What inspired me to write the book, first of all, is during my time, I was asked to attend the Oprah Winfrey show, and on that show it was a special for 200 men who suffered sexual traumas as children. And it was during that show when I was in the audience of listening and seeing people and hearing their stories and feeling their pain, because I understood that pain, that I felt so many of them were still living in the victimization of it as victims more. And I hated that because I knew there was so much more for us in life than to be victims. And I wanted at that point to say, hey, I'm having this life, the one I want you to have. And I need to write this story to show that we have a great opportunity to have a wonderful, full life.
So, Ron, you were part of the Oprah 200 Men Who Survived Sexual Abuse television episode. It was kind of a groundbreaking episode at that time. Tell us a little bit about how you started to overcome this trauma.
Well, first I needed to get help because I had no clue of what was happening with me and my life and my feelings about what, happened. So in doing that, I spoke about my life, and then I started to say what I wanted for me and stop living in the victimhood of it. And I had to understand that I was victimized, but I'm not a victim. And I needed to take that power back I lost to Charlie, who was my sex trafficker. And I knew I had to do this because I knew I wanted more than that.
Absolutely. And I guess when you're saying that you overcame kind of that victimization, did a positive mindset ever kind of help you overcome that?
Absolutely. I had to get to that point, and it was because I had wonderful people in my life who encouraged me and who kind of helped me through the process that I was able to do that and start thinking of what kind of life I wanted and not be focused on what happened to me and wallowing in that. I had to say, this is what I want, and I have to do the work to get there.
Sure. And Ron, so you've kind of talked about what happened with you and how you've started to kind of get out of that victimization stage. Do you have any tips for people watching right now? I guess if they're dealing with some trauma, things like that, some tragedy, how can they begin to overcome that?
First, I would say is acknowledge what happened in you. Give yourself permission to feel that. Then you have to look for help, professional help. I'm not a professional in that. I can tell you what I did was I got help. And then I began to say, I know my life was not about trust at that point. I just was living. But I had to find people who I can trust and have confidence in. And one of the biggest things was I overcame the fear of not talking about it. So I was trapping myself with this inside suffering, and I started to feel better when I talked about it and shared my experiences. So I would say that find those people.
Okay, and Ron, we actually have the copy of your book right here. Ron, tell us a little bit. You dive a lot deeper into all of this in your book. Tell us how people can pick up a copy.
Actually, it's available on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble. It's also an audio book. It is an ebook, hard and soft cover. I have a website, angelfinallyfoundhiswings.com. And let's see, that's about it right now.
Perfect. Yeah, well, that's plenty of options. I'm sure people will find their way to pick it up there. Well, Ron, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you.
Of course. Well, Western Slope, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.